Hello and welcome to Good Old Times. I am Natalie Clack, coming at you from my van, parked in the middle of Exeter somewhere. I'm not going to tell you that because I'm not an absolute idiot. Welcome, good evening. I hope you've had a lovely day. I just want to basically plug our website one more time for crowdfunding. The whole purpose of this project is to get you guys to support us with crowdfunding. We can bring content from creators, actors, and people who are exciting things going on for them in the creative industry. Speaking of which, I am joined this evening with Tony Howes, an actor who's been in many little bits and pieces, has been directing a production of the Midsummer Night's Dream as a one-man show, which sounds really ambitious, and I'm very excited to hear more about it. So, Tony, are you there?
Hello, Natalie, can you hear me?
Tony? Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of a load. Your ticket for the show. It's held on the 8th of August in Scotland. Tony?
Yes?
Tony? You
Lovely
can hear
to
me?
meet you all. Yeah, thank you, Natalie. Oh. I can, Natalie. Lovely to talk to you.
Hi. Nice to talk to you too. I'm sorry about my delays. It appears I'm not parked in the best spot for 4G signal. So please bear with me. I'll drop Mortan a message and just see if there's anything you can do. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Tell us a little bit more about your project you've got coming up.
Well, I'm really excited. Natalie, I've been an actor now for many years. I know you also were in the same business. I started off as the Artful Dodger when I was 12, and the people tell me I'm still playing the Artful Dodger now. But and then I went to children's television in the 80s and did a few sitcoms. I've recently been in Emmerdale, Doctors, Midsummer Murders and Casualty. But theatre has always been my first love. As you probably the same, when you're an actor, you love the theatre because it's live. I've done a lot of sitcoms that are filmed with a live audience. That's not quite the same. So in the early 80s, I was in the National Youth Theatre, and at the age of 17, I was cast as Puck. How now, Spirit, with a wonder you. And Colin Firth, who's gone on to do a few things and win an Oscar, he was my understudy at the time. And he played Cobweb. Had one line in Midsummer Night's Dream, honestly. This is at the Roundhouse in the 80s at the National Youth Theatre. And I've always had this love of Shakespeare. Michael Croft, who ran the National Youth Theatre, gave me a love of Shakespeare. And I was about 13, 14. And the first play I did was Richard II. Each substance of a grief have 20 shadows, which shows like grief itself, which, funny enough, the lovely Mortan has filmed. It's also in the one-man show. So I play 17 characters with 17 different accents. I got a little Welsh character in it, love. I play Thisbe. And the reason I play Welsh...
I'm loving it.
...is, yes, I do, because it's got one leg. I'm dying for a leak. That bit, his eyes were green as leeks. Come, trusty sword, in blade my breast in brew. And I thought that sounded very good Welsh. So I'm give bottom, as they say in show business. Yeah, I'll give it. Sorry, darling.
No,
There's a bit of a
carry
delay.
on.
You said, Natalie? Yeah, no, so I'm
Um,
playing Puck as the main character.
mhm.
And then Titania comes into it, Oberon. The play of Midsummer Night's Dream, for those that have done GCSE Shakespeare drama, you know there's 3 sections. There's the fairies, Oberon, Titania, and Puck. How now, spirit, with a wonder you.
The
There's
mechanics.
Oberon, I know a bank where the wild time blows, yeah? And there's Titania, these 3. Then there's the lovers, and that's, in the lovers we have
Hermia,
Lysander
Helena.
and Demetrius. Helena and Hermia, correct. And I mean, you'd be a lovely Hermia, to be honest, darling. You'd be a lovely Hermia.
No, thank you. I think Helena. Helena was my monologue of choice when I was back doing my degree. So I know.
Darling, so you want to be Helena.
I do like. Well, I'd rather be Peck.
Oh yeah, exactly. How happy some others can be through Athens. I'm thought as fair as she. What of that?
Thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks so. Yeah. So
yeah, that's the one. That's your lines. Go on.
Yeah. What I'm most interested in is obviously, I've studied Shakespeare. I know, the language, when we could go into an hour-long chat about how you break it down and go into all the technicalities when it comes to Shakespeare.
Iambic pentameter and all that, yes, Greece, yeah.
Yeah, all of it. I spent about 6 months trying to crack it. So we know it's a difficult plight. However, when you're an actor and you're looking at a Shakespeare play, you don't go, yeah, I'm going to do this as a one-man show.
No.
Where does the idea come in, and how have you pulled it off?
Well, what happened, hopefully I will pull it off, actually, in Wales. What happened was I kept getting offered Puck. I played Puck 6 times professionally. I did it at the Royal Shakespeare Company on that opening day. When Greg Doran, who was the theatre director there, still is actually. I did it there. I've done it with the English Shakespeare Company, which is Michael Bogdanov, who's another Welshman, if you know who he is. Do you know Michael Bogdanov? Because you're quite young, Nancy, don't mind me saying. He is a very famous Shakespearean director, and he works at Theatre Clwyd for many years. Theatre Clwyd. North Wales, not South Wales. But brilliance. Him and Michael Pennington on a Facebook. They went all around the world. They did a world tour of all 32 plays. So I've done that as well with a guide. We did that in Beirut. Can you believe it? In Beirut. I went down a bomb. But no, I thought my agent doesn't love me when she sent me to Beirut for 3 months. You could hear the shrapnel outside. I know a bank where the... So I've done it a lot of times. I've done Comedy of Errors. I've done Pericles, Richard II, Julius Caesar. I love them all. But Midsummer Night's Dream is my favourite. And so I want to make Shakespeare accessible to everyone. Now, you know yourself, Natalie, being a trained actress and director, how difficult it can be to start with. But once you start to listen to it and you understand it, for instance, the Puck speech, some of it could be confusing. He turns himself into different things. Speaks aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon, make him smile, where I have fat and being fed horse beguile. Nay, in likeness of a filly foal. I'm like kind of gossip's bowl, in very lice of a roasted crab. When she drinks, against her lips I burp, and on her withered dewlap pour the ale, all the wisest art telling the saddest tale. Sometimes a 3 footstool mistaketh me, then slip I from her bum. Down topples she, and Taylor cries, and falls into a cough. And the whole choir hold their hips and laugh. And waxing their mouths and knees and swear, a merrier hour was never wasted there, but room fairy. Here comes Oberon. No! Now, in that speech, he talks about the crab apple. And when I was young, I thought that meant a crab in the soup, but no, it's a crab apple. And it's that bobbing of the apple that he does. He pretends to be a bobbing apple and then jumps up. And it's only when you analyse that, but when you're doing it quickly, you need to sort of mime it or jump it. And that's the way that I try and make it accessible and fun. I'm juggling as well. I play as a clown to start with. He's found a script and he starts to act everyone, playing all the parts. So that's the idea. And I tap dance and sing, and each character has a song, just to break it up sometimes. And then I explain the story for those that perhaps not so fortunate have ever seen it. We take for granted
through
we're
the
actors,
songs,
but a lot of people don't know it. So I do it as if, I'm telling it for the very first time.
Yeah.
That's the idea,
it sounds like it's going to be really exciting. I don't know where you're going to get the energy from, but I'm sure, speaking to you a couple of times, you'll pull it out of the bag somehow.
I've got a Duracell battery in my bottom. I'm quite hyperactive, darling. I think I've got HGAD. Oh, darling, oh, matron, no, stop messing about. No, no.
Oh my God.
No, but I love what I do, as you do. I take it. I don't like to ask your age, but I take it you're still in your 20s. You look like you're young.
Thank you.
You get to your 50s. A lot of actors get a bit tired of the business. Do you know what I mean? But I honestly can say from my heart, my mother trained at RADA. She never took up the acting. She went to RADA, and then she decided to give it up. She married my lovely father, who was an English literature teacher, and they gave me this love for Shakespeare and love for theatre, and this is what happened. And I've still got the same. I'm so lucky to have an interest. It doesn't matter what it is. You can be a train spotter and go, oh, look, there's a train. But if it's something you love, you bring that love and warmth to the stage. And in the old Max Miller word, I do a lot of Max Miller stuff, you go over the footlights. And the audience enjoy you enjoying it. Do you agree?
Yeah, they get absorbed into it because they can see that's the thing, there's nothing worse than sometimes when you watch a performance and you can see that someone's so self-aware and they're not letting go in their character, that it kind of spoils it, and it puts that fourth wall there. Even in a play where there's meant to be a fourth wall between the characters, the actors, and the audience, you still got to have that connection and that feeling running through it, and know why you're doing what you're doing, and know what you want the audience to be feeling in the moments.
Absolutely.
Imagine that all of it's so important to pick that up. That's my reason why I love theatre. When I was a kid, believe it or not, I was quite shy, and I didn't have that much confidence. I know. Shock horror, right? And it got to me being about 16, 17. Yeah. And then I studied I studied acting in college, and I just loved it. I loved being able to stand up there, completely forget everything about who I am as a person, and just evolve into something else, and that's why I love it. Obviously, there's all different reasons why people act. Some people just really want to be rich and famous. That's not what I want. I just enjoy what I'm doing when I do it, Yeah.
Well,
It's about the love of it,
we're coming from the same. We're singing from the same tree. That's right, darling. I loved acting as a child. I became a child actor, and it was something I was good at. So that was good for my confidence. I teach young people at the National Youth Theatre and different drama schools, and also in prison. I teach in prisons with young offenders. And acting is good, as you said. You were shy, and it's good to bring people out and give them confidence. Even if they don't become the best, greatest actor in the world, if they've got a lovely personality, then you can express yourself. And that won't harm anyone, will it? To be able to speak up, especially in the world of internet now, where the kids are all like this. They're very shy. Funny enough, as a little girl, she turned 13 yesterday. I taught when she was 8. And her grandparents met me in the park and said she's 13. I went Facebook, and she's out there now. And she was such a little flower. When she was 8, she wouldn't say boot or goose because the other girls were in your face. The other dancers doing tap, step, ball change. You know what I'm talking. And now she's there as well, which is lovely. It's great to see that our teaching, moves these children forward and give them a lot of love. And I also work with a bit of men cap as well. I'm doing a workshop on Roald Dahl next week, with people with learning difficulties and doing. As soon as Wolf feel that he would like a decent meal, he went and knocked on Grandma's door. When Grandma opened it, she saw the sharp white teeth, the horrid grin. Wolfie said, "May I come in?" Then I get them to act it out and have fun. So I'm like you. I didn't want to be famous as such. I was lucky enough in the 80s to get a kids series called Lift. And then I went into Coppers & Co. And then I was with Ant and Dec for a bit. And then I went into Live and Kicking. And then I got a sitcom with Richard Bryce. But the thing is about fame is it is temporary. So, you can be famous for those years and then it slips away from you. I mean, I've worked with lots of actors who were very famous and those that have not as famous, but are flipping good actors who just work all the time in theatre. And I myself, I'm just proud of the fact I'm still going in my 50s. Like yourself, you will be because you love it. And, you can be on a canal boat doing Shakespeare, or you can be at the Royal Shakespeare Company doing it, or you can be on television eating a Mars bar. I mean, at the moment, I've got an advert, a film coming out soon called One Man and His Dog. I'm playing the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I play all that. So, I mean, I do a lot of, and I'm in this advert when I'm with a dog, and it just attacks me, but it paid me £2,000. So that will keep me going for a bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you've got to do the little, like I did an advert for the NHS this time last year where they got me to do yoga. I'm not speaking in it. I literally say nothing. I was attempting to do a headstand and I completely made a fool out of myself on national TV, but they called me for filming twice. They never used the second clips. They only ever used the first clips. But I got paid like £2,000 in total for the two. I was like, this is madness. It's madness. And you can do what?
Yeah, exactly.
I was doing a theatre tour teaching kids. Yeah, I was doing a theatre tour teaching kids English. First in France and then in Italy, and I didn't earn.
Oh, brilliant!
Like it took me 4 or 5 months to earn £2,000. It's just insane.
Exactly.
Like the money is in
but
different
let's be honest,
parts
you probably enjoyed it as much.
Oh, I love
Sorry to interrupt, Natalie. I'm sure you enjoyed it as much.
I enjoyed it more.
Yes,
I enjoyed it way more. Yeah.
My big break for me, I was in Singing in the Rain in the West End at the Palladium. At the time, I was in a TIE theatre company, touring in a van, playing Noddy, and being. We did a thing. Do you know Rainbow, the programme? Oh, Zippy a Bungle. I was playing Zippy a Bungle. Yeah,
in a children's thing.
And then Tommy Steele. Yeah. So what happened was, this is 1995, and then Tommy Steele saw me at the show, auditioned me. I had 4 auditions, and I was at the London Palladium, and my money went from, £150 to £900 a week. I mean, sadly, that didn't last for long. That was only a year's work. But had it gone on for 10 years, I'd have been a millionaire. You know what it's like. But I loved having a break.
Yeah, so you're talking about your notoriety and kind of what you've done and how it comes in seasons. Yeah. However, I have a confession to make that I have not told you about, Tony. So, when I was a little girl, every week we would have a gladiators night. We'd eat Domino's pizza, and then we'd sit down to a blockbuster film. Now, only the other day, when I looked at your website, did I see an advert from my childhood that you were starring in. Do you know the piracy?
You got a receipt, mate, for weddings. Yeah, the anti-piracy.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh.
You got a receipt, mate, for weddings.
Yeah, I remember it from when I was a child, because I always used to remember there was a dodgy guy who lived like a village across from me who used to sell DVDs and stuff like that. And I remember that advert just playing in my brain constantly whenever I thought about it. And I just that for me, look at that. And I was a child.
I based that character on a geezer. Yeah. Well, Natalie, sorry, because there's a delay. Didn't mean to be rude there.
No, it's fine.
There was a geezer in Kentish Town. He was like that. He walked like that, and he was a grumpy old tart. And that's why I played him a bit miserable. Do you remember? Got a receipt, mate? Yes, you're tracking, mate. He was really downbeat. I'm not downbeat, as you know. I'm very panto. Hello, boys and girls. I have a bra like Manchester United. All support, no calls. I do all the panto stuff. But this geezer was a right geezer, and I lived in Camden for years. You know, I was brought up sort of around Kentish Town. So it was a bit of a rough area. It's very middle class now. Everyone, the houses are worth thousands. But when I lived there, it was very council estate geezerish, But,
all right, as it going,
yeah, that was the advert, darling.
It was brilliant. It was just funny that I'd seen that.
Very nice.
I think, well, I remember it from when I was little, and it just it took me right back. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like I'm sat back in my childhood home watching the TV, waiting for this film to come on. And I always used to watch that advert, and I could have gone forward on the remote, but I didn't. I'd watch it anyway. So that tells me something about you.
Did you learn the lines? I bet you learned the lines, don't you? Yeah.
No, I wasn't nearly as theatrical then as I am now. You could teach me. You could teach me them.
Yes. It was train spotting. Still get people come up to me and quote the lines from the advert. It's very weird how that happens. So you think, it's the irony is you've done the comedy, playing Dromio, and you've done that in Japan or whatever, stuff that you're really proud of. But you do one TV commercial, people know you from that. But I'm appreciative and grateful for everything that I've done, because the other day I was interviewed, and there was a Facebook page where they put up stuff I'd done before, and I recently played a transvestite nurse in a promo film for nursing homes, and a friend of mine was in Australia, rang me up and said, "You don't believe it, Tom, we're doing a training day in Melbourne, and you're playing a transvestite. So you never know where you're going to finish up."
No.
I'm sure with the same view of your yoga. That yoga thing will come back and hit you when you're about 50 years old. You're the girl from the yoga advert. It happens.
They've got so many clips of me falling and making an absolute fool of myself. And they told me, were recording the sound, but I was led to believe that they wanted me to do it well. And they showed first, it was literally our test shot. They made me get changed 4 times. So I'm thinking they're going to rinse, lather, repeat it for the next 5 years at least.
Oh, bless you. That's good. Hopefully they paid you well. They did pay. Are you on a repeat fee, or was that a buyout? Was it a buyout?
It was a buyout. Yeah, it was a buyout. I would have loved it to have
you see, I think it's a bit naughty with actors now, because when I did Midsummer Murders, I made a fortune in repeat fees. It's still on. I played the milkman in Strangler's Wood in Midsummer Murders with John Nettle.
I've seen that clip.
And I've made a fortune. Yeah.
Should we put the clip on?
19,000.
Wow.
Oh, you got that
Mortan, can we put the clip on? Have you got that clip? If you have, if not, roll a different clip. But we want to see Tony. There we go.
Oh, this is Emma. Directed by Adrian Bean, the lovely chap who directed me in the West End in Adrian Bond, with a lot of Graham Watkins, a lovely friend.
Oh, this is the old
opening the shop, not unveiling the Mona Lisa.
Where's this balloon then?
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, just got everything covered. Let's get some bubbly.
Oh, hello. Are you Nicola?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Neville, the balloon man.
Oh, at last, where's the balloon?
I've got it here. Shall I blow it up now?
But I ordered a balloon, a big balloon.
Oh, this is our biggest.
No, you don't understand. A hot air balloon.
Maybe if you spent a bit more time on our website, eh?
Hey, you try organising the launch of a retail venture with a tiny person breakdancing on your bladder.
Well, if you don't want it...
No, I never said that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd care to come on in, Wilde's Home Farm Fair is now officially open.
No sign of this big balloon then?
Oh, that.
There is a balloon, isn't there, Nicola?
Oh, yeah, there is a balloon.
That's not it.
You're kidding me.
It looked a lot bigger in the photo.
Well, thanks for a good laugh, Nicola. I needed that.
Yeah, darling.
Thank you.
That's all right, isn't it? Bit of Emmerdale, darling. Bit of, you know, well, apparently Harry Redknapp's going into Emmerdale. Harry Redknapp, so I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah, it's
Did
cool.
you read that today?
At the start of the clip, you were looking a little bit deflated.
That's the balloon.
I was waiting for you to see if you got my joke then.
Hey, I got your gag, love. I get it. I'm a bit of a comic.
No, terrible comic. It took
You're
about 5
inflating
minutes
my ego.
Right, okay, so you've done a little bit
Go
of
on,
Emmerdale. You've done quite a few little bits and pieces. I kind of want to move off of the topic of what you're all about and kind of what you've got coming up, and find out what you do outside of acting for you. What's your thing that brings you joy?
Well, actually, I'm very much a family person. Sadly, I've lost both my parents now. My mother was a lovely. I mean, she was gorgeous. My mother. I mean, not just saying that. I had a very happy childhood. I was loved by my mother and father, and this is why I do a lot of work at the prisons. When I hear these children that haven't been so loved, this is why they're sometimes off the rails. Not always, but generally. I think if you've got a good love, hopefully, all of us, and if you don't find it in a parent, you can sometimes find it in your partner. But the thing is, I've managed to keep a lot of school friends, a lot of National Youth Theatre friends, and I think it's very important, longevity. I think life is a marathon and not a sprint. And it's how we finish up at the end, without getting too Christian about it. I was a choir boy when I was younger. I wouldn't say particularly. I do believe in God, in a sort of like a spiritual, whatever that God is. It could be a black lesbian. It could be, it could be a spirit. We don't know what it is. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. As long as we believe in, I do believe in a karma. If I send the love comes back. I mean, me and you, we met on this, didn't we? By doing something for the NHS, which we both knew we wouldn't get paid for. And that's why we did it, with the love of our hearts, to thank the NHS for what they did. So that's why we did it. I met Mortan and I met you. And now it's come full circle. And now we're both to working again. Spiritually, something great has come out of that goodness. Do you not agree?
Yeah. So you've kind of got
I've answered the
positive
question there. Have I answered the question? Yes. I love...
Yeah, so positivity,
So
I think, is what some...
Drinking, yeah.
Drinking what?
I drink cappuccino. I don't drink or smoke. I've never drank or smoked. I've got no interest in getting out of my head or not being in control. And I just love a cappuccino. And I love, my diet, I have an egg on toast with salad in the morning. And I sit with a mixture of people, mainly pensioners, to be honest, these days, because they're the ones off the work. But in the furlough, it was great because I met lots of different characters. And that's, I go to a park and we sit outside. And today I was with a chap, 72, a great chap called Jack, who lives in Spain. Because of Brexit, he's had to come back and he's going back to Spain. But he's a builder, a bit of a character. He was telling me some funny stories. And I love people. And there's a South African girl who's an artist. I was talking to her today from South Africa. And then I was, other friends who are musicians and actors. But I try and have a mixture of friends. And I think it's important to stay down to earth and not forget. I suppose in my politics, I am a bit left-wing. They call me the champagne socialist in the park. But I am deep down a socialist, and I do believe in idealism and fair. The London Marathon always worked for me because everybody runs their own race, whether they're in a wheelchair, whatever colour they are, whatever sexuality they are. They're running their own race, and everybody's a winner. They get the prize and a badge. And at the end of it, that's why I love the London Marathon. We're all friends. At the end, you can sit. If you don't make it, you still sit in a vegan restaurant in Neal Street in London, all cuddling each other. There's something quite loving about that. And I think what's great about yourself, the Celtics, you're very lucky if you're from Wales or Scotland or Ireland. There seems to be this thing, I'm Welsh, I love you. My mate runs the Torch Theatre in Wales called Peter Doran. And when he went back to Milford Haven, it was the boy that had done, oh, Peter, he runs the Milford Haven Theatre, we love him. And my friend from Belfast, Vivian, she went to Belfast Theatre, and they're saying there, all right, Vivian, you're from Belfast, we love you, shuffle up step. I think there's this, the English, we get terribly lost on, we're English, and we better apologise. Do you mean we don't quite know where we are? But if you're working class, there's this thing from London where we're all together like Ray Winston types. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like that Ronnie Corbett thing. I look down, I know my place. But I'd say that I've moved into middle-class morality, having managed to go to Bristol Theatre School and be educated. And I always see myself as George Bernard Shaw in Pygmalion, middle-class morality. And I feel that's what I've moved into. I read books, I do Shakespeare, and I love everyone, but I never forget where I'm from. And that's a working class council estate, and into semi-detached house, into nice flat. And I'm not materialistic, and thank goodness for it. And nor are you, if you're living where you're living. Is that right? I mean, you're not that bothered by money, are you?
With my little curtain on my back seat, no, you can't afford to be materialistic in this world, can you?
No,
and I think
no, not really.
For you seem like a really big people person. And I remember writing a poem about I was looking at, there was I don't know if you've picked up on it, but over the last probably 10 or so years, it's just there's a lot of negativity in the media and a lot of scare tactics coming through, and I just feel like there's not enough positive being shared anywhere, in any way, shape or form. But I found that by giving that love out to other people and understanding other people and seeing where they've come from and learning about their cultures rather than letting it be something that stops us communicating with each other, it actually does make people happier. And to have that understanding and knowledge means, you can share that with other people. So like you said, you talk to people from all different walks of life all the time, and I'm exactly the same. I'll walk down the street and I'm like,
I'm sure.
I'm on my own in Exeter, and I've made 3 friends before I've even it's about being understanding of each other and learning, isn't it? And learning and loving what people are for who they are and nothing else.
Well, I've always believed that capitalism is based on fear. They want us to be fearful of each other. They like to put out media that we're all out to kill each other, hate each other, sexually assault each other, rather than we live in a united world where everybody comes together. Division is what they want. United we stand, division we fall. And we've seen this, in lots of ways in the last 10 months. With Black Lives Matter and things. When those marches, people all come together, we make changes. And good changes. LGBT, that's become more. But people in the theatre, we've always been... I've got a mixed-race daughter, Laura, from the Caribbean, and I adopted her many years ago. She's gorgeous. And it's not a problem. It doesn't matter what colour we are or what sexuality we are. I don't care less what people are, as long as they're happy and in love. And I think most people are like that. And most people are more... I sit with these pensioners, and they're so open-minded, and they're not what people think. They're bigoted, or they're not. The majority of people are very good. Even in prisons, I'm still yet to meet someone I didn't like. And they've also got a sense of humour. Sometimes they've gone down the wrong road. But if they'd gone down the right, they'd been a COO of a lot of companies. Because they're so good at crime, they made a lot of money doing that. But we have to give people opportunity. And I think the more we love each other... I live in a block of flats. And there's something nice about living in flats, because you have to open the door and meet people and be civil and get on with people. And I think it's very important to be civil and respect people and cultures if that's what they want, fine. Live and let live. But I do think there's been a lot of division, even with the vaccine, whether you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Then they use the word where you're allowed an opinion. What's the word that they're using when you don't agree with the government? I forgot what they call it. They say you've made up a story. What's the word? Can you think of the word? There's a word that they've been using. No, it's when you say that I don't agree. What's the word?
Oh, I know what you mean.
I can't think of it.
I know what you mean.
When
I don't know the word.
They believe in something, and they say, "Oh, that's just a fabrication of the truth." There's a word.
Yeah, but it's not a fabrication. There's a
no.
There's
the word I mean,
for it,
don't
isn't
you?
it? Oh, what's that word?
They used it in the Second World War. And J.F. Kennedy. I've forgotten the word at the moment. But I tend to do when I don't like a word. I forget it because I don't think it's worth keeping. I think everyone should be allowed an opinion. If they want to take the vaccine, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's good that we do personally because I want to get back to normal. But I respect people that don't believe in these things and say, look, I'd rather not. And as long as they do the two, but again, started again and they were made to feel outside that, but it's been very different for different cultures, as you know, with cultures, Pakistani or Indian, Asian. If you live together in a big house as a family, this has been a very difficult time because then, you're living on top of each other, so you've got more chance of catching it, But generally, if you go back in time, an Asian family, the way they look after each other, buy a house together as brothers and sisters, they buy the next house, they share their wealth. The next minute, they're being very loving. Where perhaps we're more competitive with brothers and sisters. Buy our own house, I'm doing better than my brother's doing better than... Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think there's always two sides to an argument. And this is why LBC and all these radio programs do so well, because if you say something, say, for instance, Diana was murdered, you could say that. You'll have people ring in and say, that's not true, he wasn't drunk, maybe she was popped off because she was pregnant with Dodie's child, There's all these, there'll always be two different things. But what I'm saying is you could take any situation, and that's what makes drama so wonderful. Because if we just had one opinion, it'd be boring. I mean, I will always be, I think, to the grave, a bit of an old lefty, do-gooder, hippie, hold hands, CND marches. That was me as a kid. And I think whatever happens, you don't quite change. You try and change a bit, but I'm still, and even if you do well in life, I've got friends who have done exceptionally well, and I can name drop, a couple of names, they're household names, who are still down to earth. I mean, I'll just tell you a quick funny story. Daniel Craig, who's now James Bond, was sharing a flat with my friend Michael Hobbs in Highgate for many years, and Michael's at school with me as well. And Dan became quite a good mate of mine, before he had friends in the north, and he became quite well known. But he was a jobbing actor, and we were mates at the National Youth Theatre. And all of a sudden, he's a household name. Hugh Bonneville played my brother in a play called For Those in Peril. He went on to be a household name. But when you get to know Hugh, and when you get to know Dan as people, they've not changed. They are the same people. Ant and Dec are the same. I mean, I met them when they were on their way up, and they're like, all right, Tawny, mate, how's it going? You come for a pint? And I said, I have a cup of coffee, I don't drink. But they're very nice people. In fact, they came to see me in Panto in Woking, and at the stage door, I just played the clown, I played buttons, came off stage, all the crowd started screaming. I thought, I've done well tonight. And Ant and Dec was standing behind me. They came to see me, they were screaming for them, not me. So that was...
awkward.
All right, mate, I was saying, bad luck, Tawny. Here's the star of the show. So, I mean, that's how show business is. You've got to just enjoy every minute and see the comedy in yourself. If you don't laugh at yourself, I mean, I've been very lucky this year. I don't want to get into my health problems but I did have a bit of a scare. And, I was told that I might not be here, and I was told I might be here. as it happens, I met a lovely man called John Beatty, who was a surgeon in Leicester who saved my life. And I was happy before. I'm even happier now. Every minute is beautiful to me. And I'm not just saying that. I was like that anyway. I'm not saying that. I was never been a miserable tart. I'm a happy-go-lucky, privileged, working-class kid who's landed on his feet. I've never worked in my life. I do what I love. It's not hard work. I spoke to my friend Denise today. She's got to go to work today. And she said she's watching the clock at 9:45. I've never done that because I'd rather be poor. I mean, I'd rather have a small flat and rather have spare rooms and have an easy life, big house, and be sweating doing a job I hate. But that's just privilege. I think you're privileged to do what we're doing, Natalie. Look at us now. You must feel very privileged. But you've worked hard to get to this point. I'm not saying you've been lucky. You've worked hard. But you take your luck. So, you create your luck.
No, do you know what? I made my luck. I made it. For me, I had a very difficult couple of years. And coming to the end of that couple of years, it put a lot of things in perspective for me. And I thought I can either do what I'm doing now. Yeah, perspective. When it hits you like a brick. And I thought I can either do what I want to do in life, which was travel a little bit more, do theatre, but mainly theatre and education. That was the easiest route to take straight away.
That's your love. That's your love. Your love. Yeah.
Yeah. I love performing. I love acting, and I love children, and I love acting for children. You know, and I connect really well with children. They're on my wavelength, but.
Exactly. Look. Good actors are children at heart, Natalie.
Yeah, we are.
You've never lost your imagination, have you? No, but without sounding cliche, you're taking theatre to young people, and they're seeing good theatre, and you're changing lives. You're planting seeds. Those children are 5, 6, 7 with a lovely. They're the ones that, when they're 25, will be going to the National Theatre to get tickets. And you've got to remember, you're watering those plants, and what a great privilege that must be. And that's where you're getting your rewards. I mean, I do children's magic at weekends, and I love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I always remember my first ever theatre and education show that came through to school. I was in primary school when I first moved to Wales. And like I said to you, I was really quiet growing up. And they let me be a flower that danced around the little ballerina. And I remember it, and I remember how I felt doing it. I remember how I felt when I got selected, and I remember just being so proud as punch at myself. And that was when I was about 6 or 7, you know. I even remember the people who were doing it with me, you know, and I remember the company, and it, like, for me to remember that being so young, when... You know, there's so many other bits of information you can hold in and retain that are probably more valuable to you in life. But I remembered that, and it's because I loved it.
Go on.
Yeah. No.
Can you remember the smell? Can you remember the smell? That sounds a strange thing to say. One of your senses is smell. You did that. Could you smell like the actor's energy? Do you know what I mean? Like, what did you feel when you were playing that flower? Be honest. And that sounds a bit heavy and hippie, but
no, I felt really special, and it was the most beautiful moment. And like, I'm a smiley, happy person, but I remember just like I felt warm. Like if you were going to attach a smell to it, it would be like a hot apple pie from McDonald's with cold ice cream. Like,
there we
that's
go.
how
we go. So it was a. I remember we had Jason and the Astronauts, I think it was called, and they came, all these actors in sweaty tights and leather boots, and just looking at their laces because I was this high. You know, all you saw was their boots, and you just remember looking up. They look like giants, these people. And I mean, I do lots of kids' magic, and I do the pants up there. Yeah, what's your name? Are you married? I was 6 when I was your age. All that stuff. I'm 1 step away from an idiot. Pleased to meet you. And I do all that stuff with children. I love it. The best actors, Anthony Hopkins, who's my favourite actor, he says it's the inner child. Once you start to lose seeing puddles and diving in and swimming across them, and it's like all the world's a stage. We have our entrances and our exits, and our life play many parts. We go back. He says in the seventh part of man, seeing a child. It's the child. We don't want to look at your eyes. You've got lovely wide eyes. We don't want to get cynical. You know, when you get to that level, you know.
Yes.
I know, Specsavers. But what I'm saying is, life is ever changing. I don't like change. I'm a boring old Capricorn, but we have to go with it. Do you mean I'm not great on the internet? The lovely Mortan who's sorted this out today. I'm not technical like
Mortan.
you, because Mortan's there, and Mortan's a lovely spirit. Let's bring Mortan into this. I mean, he's done a start. I mean, I did a show in Holland years ago. We did Richard II, and to link that in, each substance of a grief have 20 shadows, which shows like grief itself, but is not show. For sorrow's eye, glazing with blinding tears, divides one thing entire to many objects, like perspectives. Like perspectives, which rightly gazed upon, show nothing but confusion, idle ride disform. So your sweet majesty, looking aright upon your lord's departure, weep not, for more is not seen, for 'tis with a full sorrow's eye, keeps things imaginary. And perspectives is what life's about. And so is boundaries. You put boundaries in. People treat you well, and you treat other people well. And it is possible to just love everyone. And, I lived in London. I lived in Tottenham. I was the ethnic minority. I lived with the brothers down there. I was the only white geezer down there. My car would break down when the brothers come out and fix it. Great life. A few naughty boys down there as well. They actually put a parking meter in Tottenham where I lived. The next day it had been had even been put in. And to be honest, I thank those lads for that, because I didn't pay parking for about 2 years. So I mean, all that was a bit rough and ready. There was a sort of morality and love for each other. So I mean, what I'm saying is, life, we never know what we're going to get. It's like opening a box, and it's the same as actors. I think as a director, you give things, don't tell them what's inside the box. It's more magical. So when they find out in the box, and maybe the box is empty, it makes life wonderful. And life is beautiful. It really is.
Oh, do you know what? It's been absolutely lovely chatting to you, Tony. I think we could chat all night.
And you, Natalie. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I hope everybody's enjoyed it as well. I'm trying to make it entertaining.
Yeah, well, that's the whole part of it, isn't it? I just want to quickly let the viewers at home know where they can get tickets for your production. Yes. So it'll be a one-man show from the perspective, we like perspectives, of Puck, of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and that is showing on the 8th of August at 6 o'clock in the Sound Creature venue in Swansea. Thank you very much, Tony, for spending a lot of time with us today. If anyone else at home, any creators would like to have a little go, plug something, just have a chat about life, I don't know, come on and you can host it and ask me questions. Do what you want, guys. If anyone wants to get involved or join our patronage, please check out our website. You can also support us on crowdfunding to help us bring content towards you guys and raise money so that we can make some beautiful projects we've got going on to do with local places in Wales. That's just one of the things. There's so many other things. But yeah, that's it from me. Tony?
It's been a pleasure. Can you hear me?
It's been
I'm still here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. You can play the tune.
Boom, jing. A drum set falling off a cliff. Lots of love, darling. You've been to Natalie, and I wish you the best of luck as well in your career, because, like I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I can see you going a long way.
Oh, bless you, child.
I mean that. Lovely.
Same with you. Nice to chat to you, Tony.
The trouble is with this profession, it's so overcrowded. That's the trouble. We all want, don't put your daughter on the stage, Mrs. Worthington. In the words of Noel Coward, it's true. But everybody has got something. And it doesn't matter what talent that is. If you've got that, I've always said to every young actor that's said to me, if you have to be an actor, be an actor. If you don't have to be an actor, make some money and do something else. But if you have to be an actor like you do, Natalie, it's in your soul. It's not about fame. You've got to follow your dream. And you've got to send the love. Because that's what it's about. And if you don't project the love, they'll know. It's a Dorian Gray painting. Our souls, are Dorian Gray paintings.
They are.
I hope that makes. I'm an old fart. I sound like an old fart now.
No,
I come from a good place.
I like it, Tony. I like it. Right, I'm going to say good night now because I've got to go and wash my hair ready for my day job.
Time to go.
All right then. Hello.
Bye-bye, darling. Hey, see you on the 8th of August. Bring your mum.
See you on the 8th. Bye. Bye. Bye.